Hello, everyone. So I am delighted today to introduce to you Jane Deacon. She and her husband Clyde recently joined our congregation, and we've been wanting to get some of these interviews to have a variety of different people, backgrounds, how long they've been member. We interviewed Harold and Mary Lou, who have been around forever, and so I'm just delighted to have a short chat here with Jane as we continue reflecting on Psalm 46. So Jane, welcome. Thank you for being willing to have this conversation. And so, yeah, please, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little of your background and family. Yeah.
Well, I grew up in a Lutheran church and was confirmed in a Lutheran church. And when Clyde and I, after we moved up here from California, we joined a Lutheran church and we're members of that for probably about 12 years. We've been around different churches. I said it before, we're ecumenical, we have been. But now we're kind of back to my roots, which I really like. And it's been a really good thing. I think, during, had a couple of dark years with the pandemic and having brain surgery and complications and just a lot of things going with my family and seeing what's going on in the world. And I just really I really wanted to stay away from people and churches. But we faithfully watched every week SLCs all through the thing. We never checked in, but we watched it every week because we really appreciated it. Yeah. From a distance.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was in October of 2021 that Justin made an announcement about orchestra. He was starting this new thing, orchestra. And, I'm just watching the service, thinking nothing.
Yeah.
And I heard, you need to be a part of that. And I'm like, what? I do play the piano, but it's not been a major part of my life. I mean, I was a nurse for many years, for 40 years, and that was my priority in family. Played a little piano, but not much. I mean, it's not something I think of to put out there.
Yeah.
So I argued with God for about a month before, I think it was about 3 weeks. And I thought, I'm not even a member there. I don't know anybody there. Why would I do that? I'm not that great of a player. I hate playing in front of people. But God won. I went. And the first hymn we played together, I mean, I just got teary. It was just so wonderful. And it's like, this is bringing me joy. And I have a friend who, through those dark years, kept saying, what brings you joy? I don't know. Nothing.
Right.
And then when actually I met with her the next day, and I said, guess what? I found my joy. And it was in orchestra. And it's just been a real blessing to be involved with that. The music and different things we play reminds me of growing up, being with my dad, who passed away from COVID. And it's just been a really good thing. And then meeting people, and of course, kind of branching out from there. Meeting different people in the church, and then making the decision, okay, we're ready to be members. Yep. It
was great to have you in the foundations class. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of good people in that. And it's been good. So
that is powerful. That is a powerful story, and how God kind of led you out of some dark times and struggles into a place where there was more hope and life. Yeah, that's really awesome, and also really cool for the orchestra. That's awesome. That is so.
Well,
cool.
I tell people this a lot: is God doesn't work necessarily in the box, and to be open to things that if you had asked me what was going to be the thing that turned me around after those couple of years, I would not have said that.
Right.
And, the other thing is that I've got a lot of physical mobility issues. So I can't do what I used to do in churches, can't get around as much.
Right.
But I can do this.
Yeah.
And I love doing it. And it's neat that it's a group thing.
Yeah.
To be working with other people, playing with other people. So.
What a gift. That's so great.
God is faithful.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and speaking of that, we've been wondering about Psalm 46 with folks, and that opening line, you are a very present help. God is a very present help in trouble. And so, yeah, you have any thoughts on that? Or, yeah.
Well, actually, I guess I think it has nothing to do with, the focus, because I thought of it before, but
Mm,
I really, my Lenten focus personally is to really discover or know what God is a refuge.
mm,
I mean, we could say it,
nice.
but what does that mean? What is for me?
Mm,
How is God a refuge for me? And so that's kind of been my Lenten focus, to kind of see how is he a refuge?
mm, love it. Love it. Well, and maybe that word really helps us think about how God is a present help in
Mm-hmm.
trouble and giving us a refuge and strength. Nice, nice. What have you had some discoveries with that refuge thought? Yeah.
Well, just day to day things, like, even, like having a little minor fender bender this week. I think, God I just thought, okay, Lord, you can handle it.
Mhm.
And He is a refuge,
Yeah.
and that's safety.
Yes.
And I don't always lean into that safety that He offers, because I feel like I have to do it myself, or it's on me or on somebody else or something, but it's God.
Yeah.
And He always works it out the best.
Mm, mm. So true, and I can relate. I'm sure everybody else can
Yes.
relate too. Absolutely, Jane. Yeah, yeah. Um, there's that closing line: "Be still and know that I'm God." Too. Um, any thoughts on that whole part of this and how you find stillness to? Yeah.
Well, I have morning devotional time. I mean, that I have to have it. I've been doing that since, I don't know, long time.
Wow.
And I have several devotions I use, and little devotional like the Christ in Our Home and different things like that. And I read through them and think about them, and then I've got a prayer list. But that starts my day off looking at the Lord, and kind of putting my focus there. Now, I can't say that 100%. Sometimes you're just reading it and it's sort of like, what did I just read?
Yeah, right, sure.
I mean, some
That's
days are like
true.
that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think, I think it really is an important part of my life.
Mm.
I don't think I could live without it.
Nice. So that practice of getting centered every morning in God's Word and a devotional of some kind, thinking, yeah, because some days, you know, sometimes I like to compare it to eating. Not every meal we have is this incredible meal, but we need to eat, So some mornings, like, I love that's so true. And that sometimes you just do it and nothing seems to be happening, but it is, even though it doesn't seem like it. So, yeah, wonderful. That's really helpful. That's a great encouragement for us to remember that. Yeah. Well, and I know you've got your awesome Bible there out. So, but are there other things that come to mind about that psalm that you know?
Well, reading through it, I mean, you read the next few lines, but we won't fear though the mountains shake and in the heart of the sea and the waters soar. And you think about, the recent earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And, this is saying we don't have to fear during those. I mean, we will fear, we will fear. But that's where you get down to, it's okay to fear in those situations. But
Right.
we don't have to live there. There is a way out of it.
Nice.
Through it, I guess, just like grief or anything else, you have to kind of go through it. But, and that part of that is being still and it took 2 years for me to get to a place where, and things seemed to be getting better, or worse rather, and before things actually turned around. And, you just have to keep pointing in that direction. And I mean, I never lost faith in God, but I lost faith in people big time.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know where I was going. And, I called you.
Yeah.
And in the summer, before all this other with the orchestra started, and I thought, I don't really like feeling this way. I don't want to feel so cynical and so down about people, about church, and all of that, because I didn't want to be that kind of person, live in that bitterness. And
Wow.
You were so helpful.
Uh,
I mean, you just listened, you didn't
Mhm.
judge, you
Mhm.
just, let me kind of go off on my things and encouraged me, that it's okay.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like I was weird or whatever. I felt like it was okay. And I
Yeah.
think that kind of started my journey. That was in August to really be more open, maybe, so that by the time October came, I could hear that call to orchestra and not say,
Yeah.
forget it.
Yeah.
No way,
It
Jose.
actually got to creep in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, you're most welcome. And wow, those are some wise words, Jane, getting through. I love the way you said that about we are going to fear. It says, you fear not, but, and it's all throughout Scripture, but it's partly because we are going to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we weren't afraid, God wouldn't need to say, fear not.
That's right.
But you don't have to live there. I love the way you said that. We're going to have those times. And there's going to be earthquakes, metaphorical and real ones. And you've been through those. And it's great to know that all of that happening, God's going to be faithful, like you said. That's really helpful, Jane. Wow.
Well, even if you don't feel like you're in God's hands or in His refuge, you are. I mean, you are. You always are. And just sometimes, you just don't feel it, but you always are.
Well, awesome. That is so helpful. And you're hearing, you just preached the gospel there, because that's really what it is. It's a promise, whether you feel it or not. It's nice to feel it, but sometimes we don't, but it doesn't change it. God is a very present help in trouble. That's how, right there. Yeah. Thank you, Jane. This has been really made my day and really edifying, all these conversations that we're having. And, we're doing this so that you'll be having those conversations at the dinner table, at the coffee shop, in the car. So let's keep the conversation going about being still and celebrating that God is a very present help in the trouble. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.